Hello, my crafty friends. Thank you for joining me today. I'm going to show you how to make this clean and simple sympathy card. Very straightforward. I consider this clean and simple because there's a lot of white space. But it's got a lot of interest. There's a lot of embossing. There's even embossing on the envelope. I'll show you how to do that. And it's very clean and simple. But I think it has a really, really big impact. My name is Linda Edwards. I am with Crafty Heron Designs. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I hold classes in my home. I also have classes to go, and I live in the Greensboro, Georgia area. I would love for you to join me at some in-person classes if you're in the area, or if you're visiting Lake Oconee at some point. I'd love to have you at a class. But in the meantime, I'm glad you're here. I'm going to show you how to make this card, and you could do it on your own at home using whatever materials you have on hand. As you can see, I'm using the Heartfelt Hexagon Stamp Set, and there are quite a few different sentiments that you can use with this. I'm going to use the With Sincere Sympathy, but you know, as you can see, you can use other stamp sets or other sentiments, whatever you have on hand. I'm also going to use a couple of punches to create the flowers and the leaves. And the embossing folder is the Layered Florals 3D embossing folder. And we're going to do some partial embossing. So I'm going to teach you how to do that as well. So let's get started. I've got the card base. It's just a thick basic white. I really like to use the thick paper when I can. Gives the card a nice heft to it. And since there is really only one, well, I do have 2 layers on it. So it gives it, got a really nice feel. And then this is Pebbled Path, and it is just, oh, look at that. That's too big. Let me bring in my trimmer. So this paper is supposed to be just a 1/8 of an inch smaller than the card base all the way around. And as you can see, this one's too long. So a standard card base is 5.5. You see that? 5.5. So I'm going to just make it 1/8 of an inch smaller. So I'm going to go ahead and trim that off. And actually, you'll see this is where I got that other piece. But I'm going to cut it for you. So there we go. So it's just about 1/8 of an inch all the way around, and it's 4 1/8 side to side. So let's go ahead and put that on our card base. This card comes together very quickly. It's a good one to make several, using just different colors, different stamp sets. It would be really easy to kind of do multiples. All right, so set that aside. And then I've got this piece of basic white, which is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. So that's kind of a standard layer that you often will see with these cards. So I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Pierce mat, because this is a photopolymer stamp. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp this sentiment so that I have a guide on where I want to do my embossing. This is the layer we're going to do the embossing on. So because Pebbled Path is my background, that is what I'm going to use for my ink. I would suggest you coordinate your ink color with whatever else you're doing. And because the flowers are a little bit off to the left, I'm going to have my stamp a little bit over to the right, just a little. It's not quite centered. I'm going to leave some room for the stamps. Okay, there we go. You know what? I don't really like the way that turned out, so I'm going to turn it over. That's the other reason. That's the biggest reason for doing stamping first, because if for some reason it doesn't turn out, you can do it over. Turn the paper over. There we go. That's better. Okay. Actually, I like the first one better. It's funny. It actually kind of ran a little bit with time. So I'm going to go ahead and use that first one. Might have to clean my stamp a little bit more aggressively to see. It's almost like there was something something on it, but that is gonna work. Okay, set this aside. And I'm gonna go ahead and do the embossing now. So let me bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Because this is a 6-inch embossing folder, I do need to use the big machine. The mini will not fit in the mini. And this partial embossing works because this embossing folder doesn't have a direction. It's multi-directional. The flowers are kind of just scattered all over. So it's not like it's gonna be upside down, because normally if you think about it, I'm putting this in upside down. So you always want your embossing folder to go through the machine with the folded side first. So I'm lining it up, and I'm just kind of looking at where I want, how far up do I want that embossing? And I am gonna cover the top. I do have a branch to kind of cover that with, or not a branch, I'm looking at this folder. I have a piece of cardstock to hide that line there. You could use ribbon, but I do have a little bit of wiggle room there. So I think I like the way that's lined up. I'm going to turn it around because I want to go through the machine this way. It is a 3D embossing folder. I like to label mine just so that I remember, although you can pretty much tell by the weight of it. And then it tells me on the plate, the base plate, which sandwich to use. So base plate 1, I'm using it with the 3D embossing folder. And here you can see that it tells me I need plate 4 and plate 1. So here's plate 1. And then 4 is the large, kind of the thick gray plate. And I am just gonna run that through. And it's only going to emboss where I put it through. See how I just have that nice clean line? Beautiful. All right, so I'm also going to emboss the envelope. So envelopes are a little trickier because you can, sometimes you have to go side to side, but you don't want to because you've got to run it through your machine this way. So again, because this embossing folder is multi-directional, it doesn't really matter. I can put it through in the bottom. If it was like a top down, it would be a problem. So now what I'm doing is I'm lining up the fold of the envelope to the bottom, not to the bottom of the plastic part of the embossing folder, but there's like a little, you can kind of see where the flowers get cut off. So that's what I'm lining up. I'm lining up the fold of the envelope to that last little line there. And double checking it. I can kind of see through my embossing folder. Whoops. So that I know, except that I just moved it. So hold on, let me line it up again. And there we go. Okay. So, sometimes you bump it when you pick up something. And there we go. Just run that through. And there you go. And you can see that it goes all the way. I don't have to worry about it coming around here from the front. Okay. So now, let's see. So I could go ahead and attach this and then we'll decorate it. So I'm going to just run this. Now I do definitely recommend liquid glue for an embossing folder because as you can see, especially a 3D embossing folder, there are a lot of ridges there and you want to make sure you get the whole thing to attach. Now, if you were using ribbon instead of cardstock, you would want to put your ribbon around before you layer this. But because I'm just using a piece of cardstock, sometimes you don't have a piece of ribbon that, that is the right color. We do have Pebble Path ribbon, and I do have it, but I just wanted I just, you know, you could just do a ribbon and a bow and that would have been it, but I wanted to do something a little bit different. So, and I also wanted to show you that, yeah, if you don't have, you know, all the bits and bobs, you have some alternative ways to do things. So I am just lining this up and making sure that it overlaps, that it doesn't overlap the pebbled path behind it. So it lines up that way. It does overlap the white, but I don't want it to go onto the card base. And if it did, you know, I just trim it. Okay, so that's the first part. Then the second part, we're going to take these punches and decorate this card. So this is the Petal Park Builder punch, and it's got the 3 flowers. So I'm just going to those. And then I've got the bow punch, which coordinates with the Layering Leaves stamp set. And for this one, let's see, I want a narrow piece. I'm using Old Olive, and I want a narrow piece. Now it's going to come through. I really should cut it narrower because I'm going to end up getting to another leaf, but that's okay for now. If you're concerned about saving paper, and if you don't, you don't have another, use for that leaf, then you can just cut your paper narrower so that you can run it through and not have waste. I'll save these for another use. I have a little kind of a case, I guess, that I keep handy so that when I have extra pieces, I just put them in there, and then sometimes I'll just bring out my whole little bits and all the bits and bobs and kind of put them together and see what I can make, just with all these extra pieces that I got. Okay, so here's another secret for you. I want a little dimension on these. So what I'm gonna do, I'm using my Take Your Pick tool and my Stampin' Pierce mat, and I'm gonna just press in the center. See, can you see how that gives it a little, that one's a little bit thicker. So it nicely gives it a little dimension, because I didn't put this on dimensionals or anything. You can send it through the mail. Sometimes you want something a little bit flatter, but that keeps it nice and simple. And then you can do with your leaves very carefully. Be careful that you don't tear them off of the stem. Ask me how I know. I'm holding the stem and kind of curling the leaves a little bit around the cap. So, this Take Your Pick tool has multiple uses. There's another use for you. If you don't have it, a pencil or a paintbrush or something round would do it. The eraser end of a pencil works really well as well. Okay, so now we're going to do some layering. I've already kind of worked out the position that I like the best. I'm pretty sure I may need to trim this guy down. So I'm kind of just trimming the end of him off because I just want to make sure he doesn't stick out. So I'm going to kind of lay it all out. I know that one's going to go there. I want this little one up here. And then I want this guy to come down here. I'm going to cut that end off as well so that I don't have to worry about it showing up there. Okay, so that's kind of what I want to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the flowers off now and go ahead and put my leaves down. And it doesn't have to be super precise. I kind of was looking to where it lined up to kind of give myself some kind of field marks, right? So I noticed that it came up. I don't want it to cover up my words, but I want it to come almost to the top there of the cardstock. And then this one, I know it overlapped a little bit, and I want it to come down on an angle. So, and I'm only, as you can see, I'm only putting my adhesive on the ends here. I'm not doing it on the end. I'm only at kind of the base. There we go. All right, and so next I'm going to put this one in. Now, I think maybe I'm going to use glue dots for this because glue dots. It'll give it a little bit of a lift, but not too much. I am going to use a dimensional on the smaller one, but let me use this glue dot. Okay, so this one I want kind of way over to the side here. And then, let me see. I think I'll put the little guy on a dimensional, and I'm going to keep this one on a glue dot as well. Let me put a little, I'm going to need a little mini dimensional for that. So put that little mini dimensional on, and let's kind of line it up and see where it's going to go. There we go. Put that one there. And then this one will kind of come up a little bit higher there. Okay, and then, again, I kind of wanted to keep it flat. I've got these flat pearls. These are the Flat Adhesive-backed Pearls, and they come in 2 different sizes. And I really thought these were really pretty. I wanted something to be a little bit on the larger size for this flower because he's pretty big. But I didn't really need all that size for the smaller flowers. So I thought these worked really well. But, you know, you could, there are a lot of embellishments in the catalog that you can certainly use. And that's it. That's very simple, very straightforward. It will have no trouble going through the mail. And I think it's beautiful. And then you can put something, whatever you want inside that obviously coordinates with your sentiment. So we do have this sending you lots of love and hugs that comes with the Heartfelt Hexagon. That would be very nice in there as well. But I try to leave mine, I wait to put the sentiment on until I know who my recipient is because, you know, I want to make it pertinent. And unfortunately, I do need sympathy cards, but it is nice to have them on hand, and then all I have to do is add the sympathy. And with this one, you could really even do everything except, you know, save your sentiment for later. You could do a birthday, you know, Mother's Day, Easter, you know, you could do a lot with that. And again, by changing up the colors gives it an entirely different feel. So thank you for joining me today. Again, my name is Linda Edwards. I'm with Crafty Heron Designs. I hope that I have inspired you to help to unleash your own creativity. Would love to see what you do with this basic layout, and would love for you to follow me. And if you like what you see, give me a thumbs up, share my videos with friends who might be interested as well. It always helps others to find me when you do that, when you comment or share or give me a thumbs up. So ta-ta for now. Have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.